Not as far as I know.
Okay.
I can tell you, however, that when he was on the board of directors of the Marriott Corporation, they decided to begin offering in-room pornography.
Oh.
Well, and how much was it?
Have a hobby, I guess.
This is the big family values guy. You know?
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not sure what he could have done, but he was on the board. He could have done something. Then of course, there's one of my favorites is, you know, he was in favor of amnesty a few years ago. Now he's very much against it. He attacks John McCain on amnesty, and McCain deserves to be attacked. There's McCain's famous "No Mexican Left Behind" bill. On the other hand, Romney lets illegal aliens do yard work in his house. So I said, if Romney is elected president, he promises to build an electrified fence around his house to keep more illegal aliens from doing yard work there. Mitt Romney ready to get tough on illegal immigration in his own backyard. I mean, Romney sounds good. He looks good. But when you look at his record and you look closely at what he's saying and his proposals, it's clear that he's a phony.
Well, don't you think, though, that he would at least be more receptive to the idea of closing down the borders if he were to be elected than, say, John McCain?
Oh, sure.
I mean, of all the field of flip-floppers here, let's just be realistic. I think you could probably count on Romney not to flip or flop back the other way.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what Kate O'Byrne at National Review says. You know, O'Byrne says, well, you know, on abortion, he was pro-choice for many years when he was governor and when he was a Senate candidate, but now he's committed himself. He can't flop back. I hope that's right. Certainly it's hard to find someone worse than John McCain on immigration, including George W. Bush, and that's saying a lot.
It's true. I mean, he is worse than Bush on the issue.
But, you know, guys, when you get right down to it, the Republican field this year is so depressing that I've been put on a suicide watch.
No.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I can never think of a worse year, one where the choices were more depressing, with a possible exception of Fred Thompson. The problem is Fred Thompson's asleep most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, when he wakes up, he can make a good stump speech. The thing about Thompson, by the way, is Thompson, I think, is the only candidate whose rhetoric actually matches his record.
Mm-hmm. And you know what is just amazing to me, and I've spoken about this and written about it, is that he is unquestionably getting screwed over more by the conservative medias, the so-called, you know, folks at Fox News, than he is by even the mainstream media, which of course is to be expected.
Yeah, part of it is Fred's problem, though. You know, Fred, if I could pick the next president of the United States from the current field, it would be Fred Thompson. Unfortunately, Fred doesn't run like he really wants to be president.
Exactly.
People look
and
at
you see him on TV. Excuse me. Ronald Reagan right now, this minute, looks healthier than Fred Thompson.
You know, William Henry Harrison, who's been dead 150 years now, looks healthier than Fred does. And it's unfortunate because he's articulate, he's firm. Mm-hmm. The 8 years he spent in the Senate, he had a great record on social issues, economic issues, defense, foreign policy. But people look at him and they say, this guy really doesn't want to be president. Then there's Mike Huckleberry. Huckleberry Gov.
Will his act play in New England? I mean,
no. Well, there aren't enough evangelicals up in New Hampshire. He could do well in South Carolina, by the way. He's running slightly ahead nationally in the latest Rasmussen poll. I will not vote for him. If he's the Republican nominee, I'm going to stay home, or I'll vote vegan, or I'll vote the Prohibition Party.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Huckleberry. You talk about a Republican who's pro-illegal immigration. I mean, he's changed, obviously, opportunistically, but when he was governor, never met an illegal alien he didn't like.
Or a convicted criminal he didn't like.
Or over 1,000 pardons.
Let off the rapist, or help to arrange for his parole, and then the guy goes out and rapes and murders again. But Huckabee has overdosed on compassion. I've met a lot of evangelicals like this. I mean, God bless them. They're wonderful people. They're firm in their faith. but oftentimes they just, they go overboard with the compassion thing. Compassion is one thing. Squishy sentimentality is something else.
Well, again, that ties into all the pardons he's handed out. I thought when I listened to this guy, Huckabee, a couple of times, I thought he was a role model for those old sun and sandals epics, guys riding camels in the Middle East and everything, and always there's some obsequious servant coming in to say, bow deeply and say, 1,000 pardons. Hey, Huckabee did it. Now, let me ask you another thing about a guy who is obviously not one of your favorite people, Mitt Romney. If he does not have at least a pretty good day today in New Hampshire, who among the Republicans, aside from John McCain, is most likely to benefit?
Oh, I suppose any of the establishment candidates would benefit. Giuliani might get some of his support. McCain might get some of his support. I don't see his support going to Huckabee. So I would say if Romney stumbles, which he will, probably the big winners are going to be Giuliani and of course McCain. How far the establishment and the media can ride McCain, though, is open to question. I mean, he's old, he's mean, he has a hair-trigger temper, and of course, you just can't disguise his position in immigration.
Right.
And if the Republican candidate is on the wrong side of immigration this year, the Republican Party loses. Republicans have won 7 of the last 10 presidential elections. Since 1964, they've won 7 out of 10. They've always won elections when they can unite the party. When they can't unite the party, they lose. And if McCain is the nominee, if Huckabee's the nominee, if Giuliani's the nominee, the party is going to fragment.
I'll vote for Dennis Kucinich before I would vote for John McCain.
Got a good
My hand to
wife.
God,
got
I absolutely
a good-looking
would.
wife.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Melanie. That was a sexist comment.
Open a vein before you vote for McCain.
Well, you're going to say that's true about Kucinich's wife. We got a break to get a traffic update here, and then we'll talk some more with Don Feder. It's Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
You're listening to Lee Rogers and Melanie Morgan on Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
The Hillary lead, I mean, we know she's going to take a beating today there in New Hampshire. Do you think there is any likely way she can regain her the so-called inevitability status after this?
Yes, of course. Hillary has the organization. She and Bill have built it over 16 years. She has money. I think she has strong organizations in the Super Tuesday states. So, yeah. This year I don't think you can say anything is inevitable other than the fact that Ron Paul is not going to be the Republican nominee. But it's just, could she bounce back? Yeah, but it gets increasingly hard. When you're the inevitable candidate and you begin by coming in third in Iowa and, getting the stuffing beat out of you in New Hampshire, it's hard to bounce back from that.
I want to ask you one more thing, and I know this sounds far-fetched, but I'm asking it of a lot of politically knowledgeable people anyway. Picture this scenario for just a moment. The Republicans go to their convention, and nobody has enough delegate votes locked up to win it. Then what?
That's a good question. This could, and that's not that far-fetched, by the way, Lee. This could actually be the first brokered convention, Republican convention, since 1920. When the Republicans chose Warren Harding.
Yeah.
Not exactly one of our greatest presidents.
Yeah, but a great-looking guy. He looked like a president.
Good-looking guy, great ladies' man. Ask Nan Britton. She had his illegitimate child. Oh, gosh, what do they do?
Skipped out on his hotel bill here.
Then I think that the party would turn
Just
to someone...
because he was dead?
I think the party would turn to someone who's a known commodity. And someone who's a known commodity would either be John McCain or Fred Thompson.
Yeah, bring back Phil Graham. Well, I don't know. It's Don Feder. You can read him regularly at grasstops.com. And, it's going to be interesting, and we'll look forward to talking with you again soon, Mr. Feder. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Melanie.
It's Hot Talk 560 KSFO.